I'm a passionate advocate for the economic empowerment of women. There's enormous scope for women to contribute to greater heights in the economy and really contribute at this time of crisis. So that's really what my focus is. It's really women's economic empowerment and what that can do to change the world. I was a very senior Foreign Service officer in Canada, a woman in a world of men, and ran into things that I didn't understand from time to time. And then I had a number of incidents along the road that really led me to really find a place where I could engage with men around women's issues. The major one happened in the embassy in Washington when I was the Minister Counselor Commercial for the Canada-US trade relationship. I had the opportunity to host a meeting of women entrepreneurs where a new study was brought forward that showed that a third of the industry in Canada was owned by women. And this was sort of a stunning discovery for me because we provided high-level export services to Canadian industry, and I knew that my door was not being knocked down by women. And so that led to a journey of really taking a look at who was it in Canada, who were these women who had small businesses. And what we discovered was women with enormous potential to export, but who were not connected to the government service channels, who were not known across Canada either to the media or to the business community really in an in-depth way. And what we were able to do was to reach out to them, bring them into the United States and unleash a virtuous circle of economic growth for them, for their firms, for their communities, and for my country. In Canada, women's businesses grow at half the rate of men's, they export at half the rate of men's. And when you take a look around the world, that's also true in every corner of the world. There are only 20 countries on earth where basically the economic environment, the laws and regulations are set up in such a way that it's equivalent for men and women. So generally on the globe, women face enormous regulatory and legal barriers. Now in Canada and the United States, it's essentially considered to be a level playing field for women and men. But what we find is that women's access to finance is significantly less. Part of that is a lack of education around finance. Women are equally likely to get credit, for instance, to grow their businesses, but they're much less likely to go for the kind of equity financing that they need to really grow their companies. They tend to be less involved in exporting. Export is, of course, an excellent way to grow. They tend to bring in technology less. They're not, and there's very few really role models for them also. So we find all that combines together, and then you've got a very strong, limiting factor that happens. These are the subtle cultural barriers. I mean, in Canada, 65% of university graduates are women. In the United States, it's over 55% of university graduates are women. So even though we have these enormous investments in our skills and our talents, and even though those are what are required globally, we find ourselves in a situation where we're responsible for children, we're responsible for the home, we're responsible for all of that. And it's subtle, it's very subtle, because every country on earth except sub-Saharan Africa and 2 countries in Asia have 50% or more women at universities, including every country in the Middle East and North Africa. So if you look at the scale, whether you look at the United States or we look at North America, including Canada and Mexico, or we look at the world, we have this phenomenon going on everywhere. Women are the highest educated resource. And if you take a look at what drives economic growth, are innovation, technology, competitiveness. If we don't align then our highest educated resources in such a way as to maximize their contribution to the economy,